HOA Karen calls 911. When Black Man changes his own Wi-Fi password, she had no idea what he found out. The sun beat down hard on the golden streets of Scottsdale, Arizona. The polished glass of Prestige Motors sparkled like a diamond in the heat, reflecting the shining silhouettes of some of the world's most expensive cars. Inside the dealership, everything was pristine, from the spotless floors to the perfectly lined-up luxury vehicles. This was the kind of place where image mattered more than anything, where wealth wasn't just welcomed, it was worshipped. And that was exactly why Daryl chose to come dressed the way he did, in a plain gray hoodie, slightly worn jeans, and old sneakers. No designer suit, no shiny watch, no loud announcement of who he really was. He wanted to see them for who they were when they thought he was no one. Daryl stepped out of his modest SUV and slowly walked toward the main doors of the dealership. Employees inside were laughing softly near the reception counter, their voices blending with the smooth background jazz playing from hidden speakers. But as soon as he pushed open the glass doors and stepped inside, the atmosphere shifted. The laughter faded. Eyes darted in his direction. He could feel their silent judgment, the quick, assessing glances that said more than words ever could. This guy can't afford anything here. Among them stood Susan. She wasn't just another salesperson. She was the manager, polished, sharp, and proud of the showroom she ran. Her black blazer fit perfectly, her heels clicked sharply against the floor, and the clipboard in her hand was like a symbol of authority. She noticed him immediately, not because she recognized him, but because to her he didn't belong. She approached with a practiced smile, the kind that looked polite but carried a wall behind it. "Good afternoon," she said smoothly, but her eyes narrowed slightly. "Can I help you with something?" Daryl smiled lightly, keeping his hands tucked into the pocket of his hoodie. "Yeah," he said calmly. "Just looking around." Her fake smile faltered for a split second. "Well," she began, her tone dipping ever so slightly, "our vehicles here start at a pretty high price. Are you sure this is the right place for you?" The employees near the desk tried to hide their smirks. One of them whispered something under their breath and the other chuckled. It was subtle, but Daryl noticed everything. He started to walk deeper into the showroom, slowly passing a lineup of gleaming sports cars. Each one reflected the warm light like a mirror. His eyes moved from the polished hood of a silver Lamborghini to the sleek red Ferrari parked in the center. That's when Susan's patience snapped. She followed him quickly, heels echoing across the floor. "Excuse me, sir," she called out sharply. "This isn't a public exhibition. If you're not here to buy, I'm going to have to ask you to leave." Daryl turned his head slightly. He didn't look angry, just calm, steady, but that only seemed to irritate her more. She stepped closer, her eyes flashing with irritation. "Did you hear me?" she hissed. "I said leave. You can't just walk around here like this. This place isn't for people like you." The words cut through the air like a blade. Everyone in the showroom went quiet. A young salesman froze mid-step. Another pretended to type something on his tablet just to avoid eye contact. Susan pointed her finger directly at Daryl's face. Her voice rose, hard and commanding. "Get out, now!" But Daryl didn't move. He didn't shout back. He didn't even flinch. Instead, he let out a small, almost amused breath. The kind of quiet confidence that comes from knowing a truth no one else in the room does. "Are you sure?" he asked softly. "You want me to leave?" Something about his tone made her hesitate, just for a second. But then pride took over, and she lifted her chin. "Yes," she snapped. "This dealership isn't for people like you. So either you leave, or I'll make sure security escorts you out." The employees exchanged uncertain glances. They had never seen Susan this angry before, and they had never seen a customer look so unbothered. Daryl finally took his hands out of his hoodie pocket, straightened his shoulders, and looked around the showroom. Every shining car, every employee, every corner of the place. "His place, I guess," he said slowly, with a calm smile spreading across his face. "I should probably tell you something." A nervous silence fell over the room. "This isn't just your dealership," he continued. "It's mine." Susan blinked. "What?" "I own Prestige Motors," Daryl said firmly, his voice echoing just enough to make everyone freeze. Every car, every wall, every paycheck here comes from me. The blood drained from her face. The employees' mouths fell open. The laughter, the arrogance, the judgment, it all turned into stunned silence. Darryl didn't need to say anything else. He slowly walked past Susan, her fingers still frozen midair, and stood in front of the red Ferrari. The room felt smaller now. All those sharp looks and mocking whispers had turned into regretful stares. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't seek revenge. But that calm smile said everything. Respect isn't about how someone looks. It's about who they are. And sometimes the person you disrespect is the one who signs your paycheck.